We're outside the Oxfam shop in Strand Street, Low Strand Street, and with me is Kat. In a few minutes' time, when we'll have pictures to go over this, you're going to have a bit of a demonstration down the street.
We are indeed. It's the second such this year, and it's loosely termed the March Against Monsanto, although to be fair to them, Monsanto are only the poster child for abuse of the food system, in short. So we want to raise people's awareness of what's happening to their food on their dinner plates, what's happening to the world food system, to our livelihoods and to our health.
GM modified food, right?
GM is a big part of it. It's one of the biggest parts, but there are other things that are going on that are very unhealthy too. So people tend to confuse GM food with hybridization and the like. GM is a little bit more complicated than that and much less well understood. It has not yet been proved to be safe. The studies that have been done on it so far have been too short to show definitively that it's safe, and there is good evidence that it's contributing to all sorts of health hazards: diabetes, cancers, depression, obesity, a whole long list of ills.
So do you want to get the food cleaned up, or you want to ban it, or what?
We want to do two things. We want to ban it unless and until it can be definitively be proved to be safe, both to the people that are eating it and to the ecosystems around it, because what tends to happen is food plants are genetically modified so as to enable the producers to use large amounts of pesticides and herbicides. Those pesticides and herbicides then get into those foods because now we can use them, and now they're turning up in people's bodies and they're doing some pretty awful things. So firstly, we would like to see no more GM food out there on our plates unless and until we know it's safe, and that could take time. Secondly, where it is out there, we would like to see supermarkets returning to proper labelling. Most of the supermarkets in the UK, most of the big supermarkets, dropped their GM labelling policies in April this year, and that's not good news. People do have the right to choose.
Well, you've got the Minister on your side. I mean, Minister Gorn is going to be here, isn't he?
It's great news. Phil's here to talk about the fact that on the Isle of Man we have no GM agriculture, and that's fabulous. The Isle of Man so far does not have large-scale GM agriculture at all. You never know what's turning up in people's gardens and market gardens and so forth, but nevertheless it's good. People think that means there's no GM turning up in locally produced food, but large amounts of animal feeds have GM crops in them, so cattle feed, chicken feed and the like, and that does impact on the milk, the eggs, the dairy, the meat that you get from those animals.
So what do you hope to get out of this today?
What we'd like to do is to get people to think about the fact that abuse of the food system is affecting your health and that of your children, that if nothing else you have the right to know, and that also around the world big companies are using the law to give them control over the food system. So this year alone, we've seen legislation at EU level, one called the Plant Reproductive Materials Directive, which will be enacted into national laws in the next couple of years. That will mean you, as a grower, cannot buy, sell, swap, or even save seeds from a plant unless it's on a national register. And who's going to be able to afford to put it on a national register? Not the small producer.